Hi there, I'm on Intellicast and I'm looking at the earthquakes in the last 24 hours. The red is 6 hours, the yellow is um, the past 12 hours, the orange is 18, and then the gray is the last 6 hours of the 24 hours. So what I'm noticing is this triangle here, these are 5.2, 5.1, and this one is a 5.5. This one is an older one over here at a 5.0. Those all around the equator. Hawaii's been having a lot of earthquakes. This down here, these are right around the 5-point range. But in the United States here, there's this line right here, or I guess you could say it goes to here, that are all about the same size, not very big, 2.3, 2.4, but interesting right on that line right in there. Oh, there we go. I just think that's very intriguing. Now, if you look at this map, you can see that, like, this is the United States right here. Supposedly, this is a plate, one solid plate, and those earthquakes going across the United States are not along that line. And the same with the three are not along the same line. This is not along the plate tectonics for surrounding North America, and there's a line right through here where these earthquakes separating these. So it's not along the Teutonic, so it's something else. This is a map that's in the public domain, apparently from NASA, showing which direction the plates are moving. Apparently, the United States looks like it has a lot of movement. This is probably because they are actually allowed more setup here. I'm not sure if I even know what I'm talking about that. But just looking at this, it looks like there's more movement here and here than in other places on the planet. And they're not showing a lot of ocean on here either. What it says down here is, let's get down there. Plate tectonic movements measured by GPS devices via NASA. And it does say it's under public domain right there. On this map by the USGS, they show you the tectonic lines, these red lines, and they show you earthquakes, but they don't show the same earthquakes as what they show on Intellicast. This is a 2.7 in New Mexico, but they don't show you all of the ones that they show on Intellicast. This is a map I found from the USGS that shows fault layers. Look at this line right here. That's interesting. Anyway, it's not all that clear, and it doesn't look like where the earthquakes, the line where the earthquakes were showing up right along here. But it does have a nice key over here on the side that lets you know what all these different colors mean. Now this does say, when using these data, please provide proper acknowledgement, which I have up here is the link, and this is all USGS. I did find this article in National Geographic Earthquake maps reveal higher risks for much of the United States. New government maps extend hazard zones in eastern, central, and western USA. And this is saying that the 5.8 magnitude earthquake that struck Virginia in 2011, which was quite a while ago now, damaged monuments and etc., etc., etc. This is by Brian Clark Howard, July 18th, 2014, in the National Geographic. And on here, I'm just going to scroll down. They have, this is the key, lowest risk is white, highest risk is this reddish brown. And on here, on this map, you can see where it's high risk all through here, and then out to here, which pretty close hits the telecast map. See, on here. So here's the USA with that line, which actually, if you take this line and go over here, but also this is the triangle that I thought was interesting right here. Anyway, if you take this line and compare it to, I'm sorry, I'm getting frustrated. I'm trying to compare this line with the new hazards line and figure out exactly what's going on with that. But with my lack of technological equipment, I have to keep bouncing back and forth. So that's why I'll continue to do that for a few minutes. So this is the right where the line appears to be where the earthquakes that are around to have been happening in the last 24 hours. So they're saying on here in a new study they use tomographic information about the Earth's interior to show how blobs of dense rock from the lower crust rise up underneath the region. This dense rock gravitationally tugs on everything else around it, changing regional stresses in a way that makes some NMSZ faults more likely to slip. The approach not only confirms some scientists' suspicions about the driving force behind the NMSZ earthquakes, but also opens the door to identifying other potentially deadly seismic areas. So it says it's been difficult to study. The region doesn't generate large earthquakes often enough for seismologists to have a detailed historical record, and there is no obvious mechanism for driving the seismic activity. There has to be something, though. And this person here, Christine Powell, says, a seismologist at the University of Memphis in Tennessee, says, so in order to understand why they're occurring, you have to think outside the box. One idea is that an ancient rifting event plays a role. Between 700 million and 540 million years ago, what is now the North American plate was being pulled apart as it broke away from a supercontinent. The plate failed to split completely, but geologists think the event left scars below the NMSZ, a buried rift zone where rocks are weak and fractured over plutons, blobs of dense, ingenious rock that themselves rose up from an upwelling of unusually dense lower crust. Although this scenario has been proposed before, the researchers combined different data sets to provide strong support for the idea that the lower crust wells up beneath the NMSZ. So they're saying that this is a fault here, according to this picture. That's very interesting, isn't it? Gravity of the dense lower crust alters regional stresses. And these are plutons, pockets of dense, ingenious rocks. That's what they believe. Okay, so all this is interesting. If you want to read it, the link will be below. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Geologic evidence suggests that the region became seismically active after the Mississippi River eroded too much soil from the ground above. Without the weight of the soil, faults that had been locked in place were unclamped and could release energy through earthquakes. Um, so this says Elizabeth Dietrich on it. And I'm up at the top again, September 6, 2016, by Elizabeth Dietrich. Where, in case you're wondering, the new Madrid seismic zone is what the NMSZ stands for. It generates more than 200 small tremors each year. And this is from Science magazine. Now, in this article from the Los Angeles Times by Rong Gong, John Schulis, Tom Sue Lauder, on April 23, 2015, it says that the U.S. Geological Survey has unveiled a map of earthquakes thought to be triggered by human activity in the eastern and central United States. And they're talking about fracking. All of the areas highlighted on the map are located near deep fluid injection wells or other industrial activities capable of inducing earthquakes. And there's the map that's generated. And then they have how the activity increased recently, only going to 2010. The seismicity rate in 2013 was 70 times greater than the background seismicity rate observed in Oklahoma prior to 2008. Human-induced earthquakes have troubled scientists because they pose a risk to public safety, and they have become larger. What do you think about that? And down here is a key, and then it shows the earthquakes. So here's another article in AGU research letter written by these people here. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to mispronounce them. Published in 2018. Pressure diffusion from high-volume saltwater disposal well near the Kansas-Oklahoma border appears to have contributed to triggering earthquakes as far as 90 kilometers away. Now, there are many, many, many articles about this. Okay, so I looked up this fracking wells state map. This is from Governing the States and Localities. But this is from 2005 through 2013. And here's the key. And if you look right along here, it's right about the same line as the earthquakes. Okay? So there's the possibility of the cause of that. Seems pretty likely. And then there's this story that's a little bit different from Indian Country Today. That talks about, here's a drawing, but it says there's no verified image of Tecumseh. And I'm going to move down fast because I only have so much time on here. Christina Rose in 2017 wrote this. Let me move down. Romanticized by the whites and described as having powerful medicine by his native peers, Tecumseh was a commanding figure. So the link for this will be below, but he threatened that if the Creeks did not enlist, he would stomp his feet 3 times and they would feel their houses shake. And on December 16, 1811, the first of 3 earthquakes were said to have occurred when he reached Detroit. I'm grateful for you, and I'm here at your service.